Please welcome Nanny Robina in the studio with us right now to chat about kids saying the darndest things. You know, it's really interesting. Kids are in that state where they don't really have a filter.
No.
So they just kind of say whatever comes out of their mouth at any given time.
We've probably all been there when they've actually said it, right? The thing is, you know, what happens is when they're very little, I think it's something that obviously they never do it out of being mean.
Right.
And you're right, they have no filter. They don't understand empathy at this time. And it's about that time that you know, sort of 3 and a half, 4, you've got to start teaching them.
So it's interesting because a lot of what they say could be embarrassing, and we want to talk about solutions for what happens when you're in that moment and you're completely humiliated because your kid has just dropped something that is so like politically incorrect or awful out, and you're on the streetcar or the subway or walking through the mall. How do you deal with that? Right? So we had a couple of viewers write in just to talk about embarrassing situations they've been in. This is Ryder from our Facebook page. She says, since watching Despicable Me 2 basically on repeat for a month, my son randomly started saying, "Ha, booby!" That's fine when we're at home, but not when we're at the grocery store shopping with my husband. And another viewer, Lisa, said, I was trying to put my daughter, she wasn't quite 2, into her car seat in the mall parking lot. She wasn't happy about going into the car, and so she wanted to get out. And she'd recently learned you have to say, help me, when you're in trouble. So she wanted help getting out of the car, so she started screaming, help me, help me! As she's trying to strap her into the cars. You know, people in the mall parking lot are like, what's happening with this kid?
Yes.
Are you in trouble?
Kidnapping that child.
What do you do as a parent? Do you freak out? Do you shush them?
You know, one of the things that you have to know is, yes, I think automatically you're going to go, shh. You know, it's a natural instinct that we have, but it's actually the wrong instinct, because you don't want to shush an inquisitive mind, because that's what it is at that time. So we never want them to sort of just stop saying things.
Yeah.
What we need to teach them is how different people are, I should say. How different color skin, different sizes. So it's our job to actually instill that filter in them and actually start teaching them about how some of the things that they could say may hurt people's feelings.
Right, because those were embarrassing situations, but they weren't really targeting someone else. You know, their looks, their appearance, their age, their disabilities. You say one good thing to do is to people watch.
I love doing this, and I do it all the time with the kids as a nanny. Well, I do it even when I'm not, actually. I'm like, we sort of play this game. We have this TV show on in England where 2 girls actually sit in a bar. We're not doing that with the kids, but they kind of guess what people are doing. So I took it from that and did it with the kids. When I realized that the children had no filter, I would actually start playing that with the kids. Would be out having lunch, and I'd say, look at that man. Now, how old do you think he is? Well, see those lines around his face? Because I wanted to teach the children how we change with age.
Right.
Because, yes, I've actually been on that end where, you know, one of the kids have gone, you've got a moustache, Robina.
They'll let you know.
They'll let you know.
Yeah,
there's no filter there. So I wanted to teach them from an early age about how we change as we get older.
Right.
So you can do that through people watching by explaining about the different ages that are in the restaurant that you're at, the different sizes, you know.
And just to understand, this is a natural cycle of life. This is what happens. People gain weight, people lose weight, people get older. So let's say, as a scenario, a child says, why does that man have such a big tummy?
Well, he clearly eats too much. Like
How
me.
would you handle that?
Seriously, you know what? If he said it out loud, first of all, you may want to turn and actually, you know, make a slight apology on behalf of the child before that man, you know, loses his cool. I've actually been in that scenario. We came from seeing Santa, the little guy I was looking after. We went in the ice cream shop. The first thing he said was, "Whoa, your tummy's as big as Santa's," immediately to the guy on the way out. Yes. Do you know what? The guy was actually very fast. He goes, your tummy's going to be that big too if you keep eating ice cream like I do. So, you know, I didn't have to make any excuses for him. But I would have said, you know, I apologize. You know, my son's just learning about different sizes and shapes at this time, and I hope he didn't hurt your feelings. You know, I would say that to the stranger. You have to make that apology on his behalf. And then you would, you know, walk away and perhaps explain how that comment may have hurt that person's feelings. You've got to have that chat. So that's where you bring in empathy. That's where you start to teach him, you know, to have that filter and to word carefully and not to word so the person can always hear.
Right, and you almost have to think about warning your child. If you're living in an area that's not very multiculturally diverse and they're going to be meeting people on the subway or in the bus that are of all different skin colors and tones and shades, you're going to want to prep your child for that so that they're not in a situation where they're like, what's going on over there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I love this book. So kids say the darndest things. Write this stuff down. I mean, you know, the stuff that you're okay with writing down because you're going to want to remember it.
I have this all the time talking to families. Do you remember when he said this? And they don't remember.
Yeah, write it down.
So I got that from Amazon.ca. It's worth keeping.